Hello, I am the Reluctant Reader, and this is Tall, Dark, and Deadly, a novel from the para-abnormal Tropemance series by, and oh my god, this has to be a pen name, Lexi Jacklove. The fist connected with her cheek, and Natasha Silver fought back blindly. She'd not been ready for this, but she did have her needle in her hand. No one should attack a tattoo artist at work, she thought, as she swung wildly. Her arm came to a sudden halt as she ran into something solid, something human, or at least human-like, she thought, no longer sure what was real in her world. When she opened her eyes, she saw that her needle had sunk deep into her former client, now attacker's neck. He groaned as her ink went well beyond the surface of his skin and into his bloodstream. She hit the button on her pen and added an extra dose of her special formula ink into his bloodstream, and he groaned again. His eyes rolled and he dropped backward. Shame, he was hot, until he started attacking her. Good work. Nice skills. The voice behind her dripped with the kind of sex she shouldn't be thinking about right now. Yanking her needle from the neck of the downed man, Natasha whirled around to face what was possibly a new threat and stopped dead. Hello? She spoke into the space between them, her adrenaline still pumping. Was that why the new guy was way too hot for humanity too? She couldn't tell. Are you here for a tattoo? It was a dumb question. Yes, it was. It was a dumb question. But it was all her brain could generate at the moment. You're quite a fighter, the ebony-colored man smiled, his mouth quirking up on one side. She smiled at him a little as her rush of hormones subsided. Thank you. Setting the tattoo needle on the table, she tried to think straight. Remembering the downed man behind her, Natasha turned and nudged him with her toe, still out cold. Way to go, she told herself, then frowned. How was she going to get him out of here? She couldn't very well call the cops. They'd want to know what she'd put into his system, and her patent hadn't come through yet. She would not tell them, and that would be a problem. There was also the issue that her clientele was getting stranger and stranger. She strongly suspected this man wasn't quite human. Then there were the mild statements made by big men in suits that she wasn't to discuss the work she was doing. Also, the large paychecks that made her top secret ink research possible was coming from them. So this man had to go, but with no cops involved. You're not a cop, are you? She asked the dark, handsome stranger who'd seemed to turn up in her tattoo parlor to not get a tattoo. She'd have to ask later what he was doing here. He shook his head. Need a hand? Natasha offered a sweet, shy nod in return and watched as he walked his sexy, jeans-clad ass. Oh my god, seriously? Seriously. Sexy, jeans-clad ass behind her counter. With biceps bulging, of course, he slung the non-responsive man over his shoulder and asked her to point the way to her alley. He disappeared with his quarry around the corner, and Natasha wondered if she'd ever see him again. Oh my god, that was horrible. That was just awful. That's gross. That was Tall, Dark, and Deadly by Lexi Jacklove. If you want to read the rest of the story, which I don't know why you would, it is available on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. Just search for Lexi Jacklove. Please don't pay money for that. It's crap.